Monday morning, and I have a expo that I'm going to today for work. Now, luckily it is in Utah, so I am at home, as you can see, but basically for the next 3 days, I'm going to be driving to an expo and kind of running a booth for work. So my schedule this week is going to be a little bit wonky, a little bit weird, because I'm not going to be able to do my second workout, so I've got to get the large majority, if not all of my miles done in the mornings. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try and get about 9 or 10 out on the roads. It's about to rain, but my wife is supposed to run on the treadmill, or wake up and run on the treadmill, so we'll see if she gets up in the next like 5 minutes, then I will probably run outside. If not, I may just shift to the treadmill, because holy crap, I'm really tired. My wife's not up, and it's starting, and it's like pretty much pouring outside at this point, so we're just hitting the treadmill and we're gonna call it good. Let's get it. It's 6 a.m. I only have about an hour before I have to go to conference day 2. So I was at a work conference all day yesterday. I was able to come back for about an hour and a half. So I was able to get my lift and a couple more miles in. And we're going to be back there by 8 a.m. today. So I really have like an hour to an hour, 10 minutes to run. It's a speed workout day. I'm feeling like hot garbage. These conferences just destroy me. I'm just not built for them. But we're going to go and we're going to get our work in. Testing out some fun gear today, so I'll show you. I've got a couple of things. First up, we got our Wallaco shorts. I accidentally ordered a size or a length lower, so this is like the 6-inch length, I think. I guess I had the 8 before and I didn't realize, but so a little bit shorter than I'm used to, but still the distance half tight, which I love. I am part of their affiliate program, so if you want to support me and you want to check these out, you've been wanting to check them out, RadDad20, all caps, can get you 20% off, and it does give me a little bit of a kickback as well. But Wallaco tights, these are my favorite half tights for like racing and speed work. You probably see me wearing them. The other thing, we're wearing the R3s from Puma. Crazy shoe. First time putting them on this morning, and it feels blasphemous, but I am going to wear them on the treadmill because it's pouring rain outside. So I'm going to wear them on the treadmill for the first run, but obviously I'll get a couple of more runs and like 30 plus total miles on them before I do a full review. So, but all right, I'm already short on time. I got to get moving, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my speed workout, to be honest, or threshold workout. I don't really have time to do my normal full thousands workout, so I may do some longer reps. Like 3 by 12 minutes with 1 minute rest or something like that. So anyway, let's go. All right, so we ended up doing 400 or 90 seconds. 90 seconds by 14. More so just because we ran out of time. I would have rather done like 16 to 20. But it is what it is, and so to account for that, since, you know, a week and a half from now, I'm going to be 5K training again, I don't want those paces to feel so off. I want to be a little bit more familiar with my body, and so what I did was I started in a sub-threshold and almost treated the intervals like a progression. So we went like 7:15, 7:10, 7:05, kind of over 7-minute pace for the first 4. Then we were like around 6:40, right, for the next 4, 5, 6 or so. And then the last like 4 to 6, we were actually at like 6:15, 6:10, and 6-minute pace, which 6-minute pace is my goal 5K effort, right? And then we also did scale rest a little bit. So we were resting only about 30 seconds early on because we were going threshold effort, and then we were going a little bit longer. So towards the end, I was getting a full minute rest in between those intervals. So overall, the body felt really smooth. And that's being like crazy fatigued. So I'm like super beat up. And so that was surprising how the body felt as far as like moving fast. And maybe it's placebo, maybe it's the shoes, but I'll talk about these in a second because These are pretty crazy. Now we're on a treadmill, so we'll have to see again what these feel like outside, but these are pretty crazy, and we'll leave it at that. All right, so this is supposedly the fastest shoe on the market due to studies that Puma paid for, but they hired a third party, specifically, from my understanding, the guy who did the Vaporfly study, the original like 4% study, that showed the Vaporfly made you 4% more efficient. And this shoe supposedly made every runner, when compared to the Alphafly and the Adidas Adios Pro Evo 1, this shoe made everyone about 3% better even then. Look, one run on the treadmill doesn't prove anything, but that was nice. So the difference between this shoe as well as some other super shoes, apparently this shoe is, like, they didn't take comfort of the runner into consideration. They just tried to design the shoe that is the most efficient for running, period, right? So when they designed the midsole and everything, my understanding is they did some programming, some kind of analysis to understand what would the most efficient geometry be, not accounting for strike, or not accounting for foot strike, not accounting for comfort of the runner, just like purely like what is the best possible geometry that you could put in a shoe. Versus other shoes, yeah, they look at the best possible geometries, but they're optimizing for specific runners sometimes. Sometimes they're a pro group, they're testing on those runners and kind of going from there versus starting with the potentially most efficient shoe. So really interesting concept. 6 minute pace felt easy. 6 minute pace felt smooth in these shoes. And so again, it was just short intervals. It was like a progression interval workout, but these are pretty crazy. The upper is actually surprisingly comfortable. I thought it would be a little bit flimsy. The tongue is flimsy, but it doesn't really bunch up like the Pro Evo 1. And so, you know, overall, they've got some really interesting stuff going on here. The toe off, I thought that plate would feel a little bit awkward, but honestly, that actually feels really good. Like that, I like how that feels. So, I mean, we'll see. I have plenty of miles to put on the shoe, but first thoughts, I'm pretty blown away, to be honest, on the R3. So maybe my future sub 3 marathon shoe right here. 6 a.m. I've been at a conference for the last 3 days and staying at home because the conference was about 20-30 minutes away, but it was meant pretty long work days and just kind of feeling out of whack. That and these conferences take it out of me from like an emotional, maybe not emotional, like mental capacity standpoint, to where, you know, I get home and I'm exhausted. It's just kind of taken out of me, and then I wake up the next morning and I'm really, really tired. So I'm always tired, but I'm extra tired this week and kind of out of sorts. I normally do my shorter, faster intervals on Thursday. I don't know why, that's just how I've been doing them, but I did them on Tuesday. And so today, I think I'm just gonna do some longer intervals, maybe test, I've got the Fast R3, the Puma Fast R3 on foot again, and I was thinking maybe I'll do kind of some tempo, like split tempo style work. So that's what I'm thinking that I'm gonna do. Just kind of go from there. So see how things feel, see how the legs turn over, and yeah, that's about it. Hoping to still get in like 10 to 11 miles today. I'll probably get 7 or 8 this morning, depending on how fast I am moving, and then probably do like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I may skip my lift today. I had to skip my leg lift on Tuesday as well, just to fit it all in, or just to not fit it all in, I guess. Had to skip so that I could get work in and not neglect the family. And so that's where we're at, but I'm really tired this week. Probably gonna be fighting off a cold, I would imagine, for a couple of days. And yeah, let's just get back to it. The weather here has been pretty terrible for the last few days, but it looks like today we're turning around. Should actually be a nice like 50 degrees. I'm gonna start with a pullover though, just to help myself get out the door. So. All right, I decided to suck it up. Just did my 10-minute splits. So 10 minutes, 90-second rest, 10 minutes, 90 seconds rest. And went from there. was sub 7 pace on the last 2. On the first one was just above 7. So, whew, feeling it, but legs carried through. More thoughts on the R3. Whew, coming soon.
So it's Friday morning, and I slept through my alarms this morning. So I'm pretty wrecked this week. If I'm being honest, my hip is acting up a little bit again, and I think it's just overall running volume. Now the good news is after this week, then I am going into a deload, or not a deload, I have a deload week actually, that is right. I have a deload week, and then I'm going into 5K training where my volume will drop. So, you know, I don't think it's anything serious. I really do think it's just overdoing it from a volume standpoint. We've been able to build a really strong aerobic base, so I'm excited to see how things go. But like I said, I've got about 20 minutes to get a quick upper body lift in, and then I'm gonna do my running later today during lunch. So.
$6 a.m. and we're headed to the paved trail. I'm meeting up with John. It's been a couple of weeks since I've run with John. His work schedule has just been a little bit crazy, so we're gonna get 11 miles easy in. I wanna show you the shoes I'm running in today, but I can't. They are embargoed until next Friday. So I'm gonna be blurring out some pictures, blurring out some videos for the for a couple of runs this next week, just because I can't share these shoes until next Friday. And but they're one that I think are going to be really, really popular. I'm excited to have them, and yeah, I guess that's all I can say on them, so I don't ruin the surprise. But with this run, we should hit 60 miles total for the week. We should be well above 10 hours, and yeah, it's my last big base building week before a deload, and then back into 5K training. So pretty tired, pretty wrecked, but excited to start training for speed again. So
we're out with not a murder John, or not a serial killer John again.
I don't know about that one.
Long run. I'm doing 11. He's doing 14. We are just under 6 in. My legs are heavy. He only slept like an hour. Going off of pure fumes. It is what it is. Finishing up the run, closing in on 11. John still hasn't murdered me.
Nope. Not yet.
Don't meet people on the internet.
Don't do it. Or do. Get murdered.
They may turn into good long run buddies or murderers. There is no in between. All right, just gonna pull out of here and head home. Hit 11 with John. We just kind of went, I wouldn't call it easy, because the heart rate definitely got up at times. We were kind of just one of those long runs where you're not really concerned about pace. You're just going, you're talking the whole time. You're not really looking at the watch. So 11 minutes, or 11 miles. I want to say we probably ended up averaging like a 9-minute pace-ish. But again, I'll have to look at it. But on the week, should be just over 10 hours. And should be just over 60 miles. Like, I'm gonna guess 60.4 and 10:04. That's my guess. I don't know, but there's the mileage for the week. Yeah, I mean, legs felt heavy today. I was telling John I'm tired. I'm really tired. I'm just beat up from consecutive 60-mile weeks, right? Over and over and over. Was to be expected, and so at this point I am just ready to deload and get into 5K training. Now, I haven't built out my 5K training block yet. Like, I haven't sat down and like written out how I want to approach the plan. So TBD on that. When I train and when I write out plans, like, I really like workout progressions. you know, going from like 400 to 800s to 1200s, or to 1000s to 1200s to 1600s, right? Like basically just extending speed throughout the block and then hitting your race or your time trial. This last block, I did a lot of multi-pace stuff, a lot of float style, a lot of longer tempos, a lot of ladders cut down. So I really mixed it up, and that felt like it had a pretty good impact, right? Just like running a lot of different paces, pushing my body. But at the same time, that's where my hip issues started. I felt like I was maybe pushing a little bit too hard, where oftentimes I would have a Tuesday workout, a Thursday workout, and then a Saturday workout. Oops, don't want to turn actually. So with this next training block, I am gonna be a little bit more mindful of that. And I think I'm gonna do just like a Monday, Thursday, and then Saturdays, maybe just keep them long, but not necessarily with like workout paces. So kind of like today, don't necessarily have to take them easy, but just not going to be trying to hit any like super fast race paces or anything like that. We'll see though. We'll see how it works. It's a hard thing trying to balance, right? Pushing your limits, getting faster, getting stronger, while also trying to stay injury free, right? And I think I've been a lot more risky with my training over the last 9 months than I had before, because I wasn't as happy with my results of where I was, 9 months ago. Like I had been making progress, but not at the rate that I felt like I should. But that's again, like it's hard to say, because like, are you improving? Yes. Are you injury free? Yes. On this last block, did I improve? Have I improved over the last 5 or 9 months? Definitely. Am I more injury prone is maybe not the right word, but like I'm borderline injured. Yeah, I am. So that's where, it's that delicate balance, it's that fine balance, and we'll have to see. One thing I am proud of though, I am proud of, I feel like I found some good limits. I feel like not necessarily the 60-mile mark, but the 10 hours a week. That's a good benchmark of like, okay, I can do that. And that's like, I can push my body to that limit. I've adapted, I can handle it, but it does really, really tire me out. I probably can't stay at that volume for the whole time, right? Which, I assumed, but I wasn't sure when I did this base build if I was going to get up to that 60-mile threshold and be able to hold it. So all in all, I'm proud of myself, proud of my progress, and ready to move on to the next training block, the next focus, and see what we can do. I've talked about going to CIM, because it feels like a ways to not try and race another marathon, right? This year, to not give it like a shot, like do at least one a year. It really does. But I also just, I do think my long-term growth is going to be contingent on me, like, getting faster at the shorter distances, because it's making me more efficient. If you look at professional runners, they become really efficient and really like locked into these shorter distances before they tackle the long distances in the marathon. And so, and like ultimately long term, I do want to do some 100-milers, that kind of thing. And if I'm going to do that, like those are a lot better, a lot easier if, again, you're really efficient. And like, not that I'm ever going to be a professional level ultra runner, but man, you look at like David Roche, for example, his theory was basically like, hey, he needed to have the running economy and the efficiency to be able to run a 4-minute mile. And it was that style of training and that mindset where, he was able to go out and win Leadville, right? So, I mean, there's other factors too, but he went and took that race and he covered it at like a blistering pace. So anyway, like there's a lot of different training theories out there. There's a lot of different methodologies. But I do believe like that it's not to say that everyone has to become a fast 5K before they go to the marathon. But I don't think that there's much of an argument to say that becoming a faster 5K in the long run won't help you on the marathon, right? So the marathon, the 3 hours is still there. I know we're taking a long detour, but CIM though, the only reason I wouldn't do it is it's the same week as the running event, which is the first week of December. And so I'm gonna be in San Antonio for that week on my feet, like all week, doing, you know, shakeout runs, running events, working with brands, and then be absolutely exhausted. Last year I got sick right after it, and then I'm gonna fly to Sacramento to go run the marathon, right? And I just don't know if that is gonna allow me to put my best foot forward. So we'll see. I'll be at New York or Chicago weekend. I haven't decided which one, for the festivities, for the expo, just to network, to meet people, to have fun, to be around that excitement. So if you're a brand and you're watching this and you want to send me and want me to run one of those, I'm not gonna say no, but I'm not expecting to run either of those. But that, so like, I don't know, I'm on the fence. We'll see. I kind of want to run a marathon this year, but maybe I won't. Maybe I won't, and that's the reality. And then the other thing is I do want to go run Tokyo in February. So if I'm running CIM, that's pretty close to Tokyo. I don't know. Anyway, this was a long rant, but overall feeling good about my progress, feeling good about my body, feeling good about the body of work that I put in. So we'll sign out for the week. Thanks for following along, and let me know. I don't know who watches these things. Some weeks they do okay, some weeks they do terrible. Let me know in the comments, right? If you've watched this far, give me a heads up. Tell me, you know what? Tell me in the comments, if you've watched this far, tell me in the comments what your favorite part about this vlog was this week, and what kind of stuff you'd like to see more of. I would love to improve the production quality of this vlog long term. I am not a video editor, I'm not a videographer. I'm just a dude with a phone and some cameras, doing my best to try and document for my own purposes, and for those of you who have been kind enough to follow. So let me know, give me a shout if you're still here, and we'll see you again next week.